In this lecture, I'm going to discuss a 5-step problem-solving technique that is designed to be helpful whenever you're working on a word problem. And 5 steps are going to be broken down into smaller parts that will help you work through word problems in your algebra class. Now, the first thing we need to do whenever we start working with a word problem is to understand the problem. Now, there are several different things we can do to help us gain an understanding of the problem, but the first thing we always need to do is read the problem itself. Now, as we read the problem, if the problem has any complexity to it whatsoever, then it's usually a good idea to read the problem more than once. Most texts will suggest to read the problem at least 2 times. As you're reading the problem, there's certain things you need to be looking for. The first thing always to look for is what the question is. Alright, you need to figure out exactly what it is they're looking for and what it is you're going to be answering. And after that, you can look for what is given. Alright, any facts, figures, formulas, and that sort of thing you might want to make note of. You may even make a table or perhaps a list of the given information. That will help you to organize the information. And another suggestion is, and this is something that you can often do in an algebra setting, is in a lot of cases you can draw a picture that represents the problem that you're trying to work. Now, once you have a complete understanding of the problem, you have read it as many times as needed, you know exactly what the question is, you know what all the given information is, you have all your tables, or you've listed the given facts, you've drawn a picture where possible, then the next step is going to be to translate the problem into, well, let's just say we're going to translate it into math. You know, we're going to make it symbolic. We're going to come up with a formula with operations and perhaps variables and that sort of thing. We're going to translate it into an expression or perhaps an equation. Now, on occasion, though, if perhaps you're working with something geometric, you won't have to come up with your own expression or an equation. If the problem is perhaps geometry related, there might be a formula that already exists that you can just pick out and go use. Now, once the translation has been finished, the next step would be to carry out the operations. In other words, if the formula you have says you need to multiply a couple of values, go ahead and do that. Add, subtract, just any other operations that need to be carried out, go ahead and do that. Alright, the next step, after all the operations have been carried out, is to check your answer. Okay? Now, checking your answer isn't always possible, but whenever you can, you might want to ask yourself the question, does my answer make sense? Now, does this actually answer the question? Is it logical? Is it reasonable? Now, if you can't ask that question, and on some, certain types of formulas, maybe you won't be able to do that, at the very least, your answer should work in the original formula or equation or expression that you came up with. Now, our last step, and one that's easily forgotten, step number 5, is to answer the question. It's very easy to forget when you're working a math problem that, especially with a word problem, you actually need to write out a sentence and make sure that the answer is clearly expressed so the instructor can read your answer and understand which question this answer goes with. Alright, so what we're going to want to do as we answer the question is to state the answer clearly. Okay, so everybody knows exactly what the question was and what the answer is that you've got for that question.